do you think if I invite some of my friends and I bring their work along from Turkey? And I said, hey, that sounds great. And it has. It's been really great. I've had a lot of fun putting this show up with Kevin. And I'm going to do a little formal introduction. I was afraid he wasn't going to give me any information, and then I was going to have to make things up about him. Yeah. So anyway, as many of you know, Kevin was born and raised in Adana, Turkey. He's a Turkish-American artist who completed his BA in Studio Art and Environmental Studies at Knox in 2024. His work captures the shifting reality of landscapes as they are transformed by humans and nature. In his most recent exhibit, Dara reflects the architectural, cultural, and political changes in the landscape of Turkey after his hometown was struck by a devastating earthquake on February 6th of 2023. Upon his recent return to Turkey, he met and decided to collaborate with several artists on exhibiting their experiences of political and social oppression. Hence, the Lines In Flux exhibition that we're really, really happy to be hosting right now. So
it was actually crazy how we were able to manage to do all this, so I really appreciate it. All the effort. Also, all the Monmouth students who helped with me putting the show up. You guys are legends. We stretched the cameras together. We hammered some nails into these big drawings. And we didn't care. I remember doing that.
And you'll be doing it again tomorrow.
We're about to do it again tomorrow, taking it out. But also the effort, I think, lies in the artists who decided and trusted me with their work to bring it here. And I think we're a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 people who decided it's a good idea to show our work in one space. And the story starts off, I have a very old friend from when I was a teenager. She had a movie playing. I'm going to keep playing it once we get over with this if you want to check it out. Some people saw it already. She and I had only met twice in our lives. Her name's Derin Su. And after I graduated from Knox, I went back, and first thing I did was hang out with her, and she took me to a cafe where there were many, many kindred and kind souls who you see around here. There's different stories for everyone. Like I mentioned, Derin is one of those people. Naya also is an animator, illustrator. She's from Ukraine. There's Bedia right behind you guys. There's a long series of drawings and sketches. She's from Adana, where I grew up, and she talks about the land specifically. There's Beza, who is a surreal painter who finds a landscape in her psyche. And I wish I could show more of her work, but you know, you can put so much in a suitcase, which was actually a crazy experience. And there's Jivada, who's from Syria, and he makes whatever he can with whatever he has. He's an absolute legend. Before I continue talking about the work and talking place with me, frankly, they actually have some things to say themselves. We all recorded some videos and edited, so I want everyone to kind of get close so we can show what they have to say.
Selamlar, ismim Bediye Ekiz, multidisipliner sanatçıyım. Şu anda İstanbul'daki atölyemdeyim. Asıl beslendiğim ve kendi merceğimi aldığım yer Adana Çukurova bölgesinde. Doğduğum bölgenin kadim tarihine, mitolojik tarihine, volkanik yapılarını, yanardağlardan oluşan volkanik yapılarını inceliyorum. Line In Flux'ta da oluşturduğumuz ağ, bu bölgedeki sanatçılarla ve bu bölgede olmayan diğer sanatçılarla birlikte bir araya geldiğimizde nasıl bir kültürel ağ oluşabilir, nasıl birbirine iç içe geçiyor ve biz bunu nasıl yansıtıyoruzu gösteriyordu. Line In Flux'taki eserlerimde de yine aynı şekilde o bölgenin volkanik dağlarının müdahale edilmesi üzerine aldığım kayıtlarla birlikte hissettiğim duygu ve düşüncelerimin ve fikirlerimin erozyonlarını birazcık içine alıyor.
Merhaba, Beyza Gökay ben. 29 yaşındayım. Mimar Sinan Güzel Sanatlar Üniversitesi Resim Bölümünden 3 yıl önce mezun oldum. Taksim Tokatlıyanhan'da ufak bir resim atölyem var. Orada üretimlerimi gerçekleştiriyorum. Bir yandan da dövme sanatıyla ilgileniyorum. Hem İstanbul'daki yaşamımı sürdürmek hem de sanatsal üretimlerimi desteklemek için dövme yapıyorum. Yağlı boyalarımda daha çok bilinçaltımla bilincimin serüvenini işlerken, yani kendimi aslında bir terapi olarak resim yapmaya meylederken ve bunu da soyut sürreal arası bir dil biçimini benimsedim. Katmanlı sanattan hoşlanıyorum. Zihnimdeki doğayı üretimlerime yansıtarak kendime ferah bir alan açıyorum diyebilirim. Bu şekilde. Teşekkür ederim.
Greetings from the other side of the ocean. I'm Deren Su, and I suppose you've seen my latest short film, Scar Tissue. I did this film 1 year ago, thinking it's gonna be nothing, because it gave me so much pain. Because in this film, if you've watched, I'm expressing an abuse I've been through as a minor, and I did not know that I was ready to do it, but turns out I was. And I did not know that this can become art. And turns out it can. The fact that I'm gathering more witnesses on my side through this piece is giving me a lot of healing. So thank you. And I think it's a really meaningful timing that we've done this exhibition, thanks to my friend Kevin, because he brought all of us together. Because it is getting harder and harder each day for us to be heard, to speak our truth. In Turkey, as we're speaking right now, 306 students between the ages of 18 and 22, such young people, are in jail unlawfully just because they used their right to protest against all the countless unlawful stuff the government is doing at the moment and done for the last 22 years. So I'm glad that we can still send a piece of us across the ocean and we can still be heard and maybe be understood. So it's really valuable for me to be a part of this, and I'm sending love and hopes.
Hello, my name is igsh. I am a book illustrator and painter. I'm based in Istanbul, but originally I'm from Ukraine. I've been living in Istanbul for the last 6 years, and before that I've been traveling and selling my small canvases on the streets of Armenia, Georgia and Turkey. I am actually a university quitter. I've been studying monumental decorative art in the St. Petersburg University of Art and Design, and at some point in the third year I felt like I was driven towards Middle East and traveling, and I had a little art crisis that I needed some inspiration, and I feel like I originally been like since the beginning I was always inspired by the Middle Eastern Mesopotamian art, especially that has been talked a lot about in universities and the art books, but it feels like in this faraway place that you only can see and hear about in books. And then finally, when I ended up with the source of it, I felt like it was a place for me to be and create and live. So after a while of traveling, I ended up in Istanbul, and until now I'm here creating and working my art. And in my art, I'm talking about a nostalgia, if I can say, the kind of nostalgia that, this sensation, this feeling that all of us have, no matter where we are from, like this kind of common consciousness that makes us feel connected to something deeper, the source of life in a way. Maybe that when we look at the certain things, no matter where we are from, our cultural background, we are feeling that feeling this that you're being touched by what we are seeing, and somewhere really deep. And in a way, I feel like my art is influenced by many cultures. That's why many people are seeing like Slavic or Middle Eastern or Asian even elements in my art. But I think it's a fusion in a way of all, because I think that in general, art should be talking to people no matter from whom it was created. So as more wider audience can connect to the art, as more important it is, because it's another language that connects us, which is important.
Joanna said, "This project is my attempt to trust and find the magic in the sensitive topics I face, such as displacement, chaos, and fear. Since I started drawing, I didn't have the desire to learn the perfect recipe for success. Drowning, I just wanted to say something. I take an empty piece of paper, draw on it, then I keep drawing, and then I erase, cutting and layering. And layering until it lands somewhere. After I finish a piece, the flow of it strikes me and speaks to me. It's a magical process that I try to transfer to the viewer. Then I can move on, to find my voice, to stay relevant, and to describe feelings and thoughts in ways that words can't." And as you might imagine, I really resonated with that. So maybe a round of applause for the fellows who just said something. So this is a long, it feels like a long time coming for me, where I wanted to do something like this, where I just brought some people together and showed it to people who would otherwise absolutely not seen this type of work. I'm really glad I did. But the process started for me at Knox 3 to 4 years ago, taking a drawing class with Andrea, and then talking to more professors with Tony Gant over here. And I expanded my views on what a drawing can be. And Stacy actually approached me and said, "Wow, like kids got to see what a drawing can be." And I was like, "That's what they've been telling me." And I think it's really resonated with me after I figured out that lines are a direct representation of what the heck's going on in your life. And so when I interact with people who feel the same way, when they do this or that, or whatever you're seeing in here, I can look at it and I can just understand them. And I think we felt mutually the same way with these artists. For more context, I met Bidya, for example, at a big gallery open house kind of showing in Adana, where I'm from, and I just saw her drawings and I was like, that's the language that I speak, and hence the name is like, when you see a drawing and you like resonate with your life. When we're going through transitions, and like currently I am for sure, like I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with my life, but I'm here and I'm glad I'm here, and it's kind of just about riding the wave and like accepting the line that I'm on. And so when we said it's the lines in flux, all of these artists, there's something happening, there's something going on in their lives, and I think that's true for everyone that I've ever interacted with in my life. I think whoever claims that they're perfect is absolutely lying. But And I'm sure like everyone recognizes that, but this is an interpretation of these ideas, and they came together in a way that made a lot of sense for me. And one of the main reasons was because when I was making this work, these big memoryscapes that like these were direct representations of my city where I grew up in, the streets that I would like go through every day to get to my high school. You know, and I remember when the earthquake happened, I would watch videos of buildings on the streets collapsing, and I couldn't just fathom that. I was watching this, like, you know, this alternative reality on my phone as it unfolded, and I thought I was the only person experiencing that because I was making this work in Galesburg, Illinois, at Knox College, and going back, talking to these artists and realizing that it was a collective experience of trauma and love and, you know, healing, it just felt right to do something like this. So I think all of this work can just be seen as one, even though there's these artists with their own artist statements, and of course listen to them. And I'm glad that you did. But keep all of that in mind, and I'm glad that everyone is here, and thank you for accepting this space, and like thank you for showing up. I think that also adds to the experience of like of this whole thing, because these people, you know, they're scattered all over the world, and we're in Monmouth College. So shout out Stacy again. That's kind of all I have to say. If you have any questions, please ask them. And if you feel like that's crazy, you can ask me later. Yeah.